If you've been to a pond during the spring or summer, then there's a good chance you've encountered a frog. Often overlooked as basic green animals, these amphibians are actually amazing, complete with their own unique traits and adaptations. Here are 5 things you may not know about frogs. Number 1. They breathe in different ways, and some of them are pretty weird. You probably never really think about how frogs breathe, but if you ever dig into it, it's kind of insane. These amphibians don't just have one way of breathing over the course of their life, but 4. They start out as tadpoles that use gills to breathe underwater. When they transition into adulthood, they use their lungs to breathe. However, they lack a diaphragm, so they use a process called buccal pumping that involves pushing air through their throat. This is what frogs are doing when you can see their throat just under their chin bobbing up and down. In addition to using their lungs, they also use their skin through another type of breathing, called cutaneous respiration. Frogs have skin that is thin, and blood vessels close to the surface. This means they can absorb oxygen directly from the air and water, which is pretty amazing. This is why it's so important for them to stay damp. But wait, there's one more. The skin in frogs' mouths is also permeable, allowing oxygen to pass right through. In sum, frogs are decked out with multiple unusual ways of breathing. Number 2. They don't all live in water. When people hear the word frog, they usually think of an animal hanging out in and around slow-moving water. This is certainly accurate for many species, but there are others that don't need to be near water all the time, and these frogs live drastically different lifestyles. One such example is the tree frog. While tree frogs don't need to live in water, they still need to find ways to hold on to water to avoid drying out. Some of these strategies include waxy secretions to keep water in, taking refuge in damp, dark places away from the sun, and taking advantage of the water that is around, such as dew or rainwater. These adaptations allow tree frogs and some other frog species to live separate from bodies of water and venture further into the world. It's important to know, however, that while some frogs have been able to move away from water, others still need that direct lifeline to survive. Number 3. Some are extreme survivalists. With many frog species needing water for survival, one would think that they're fragile creatures. This is most definitely not the case for all frogs, as some of them are actually pretty extreme in what they're capable of doing to survive. Take the wood frog, for example, a species that lives as far north as the Arctic Circle. So how do they deal with the kind of cold that would kill just about every other frog on the planet? They have a natural antifreeze in their cells that prevents damage when the frog freezes. During this time, they have no heartbeat or brain activity, and yet somehow thaw and revive themselves when the water finally gets warmer. On the other end of the spectrum are frogs like the desert rain frog that hides in burrows under the sand in arid parts of Africa and comes out at night to feed. Taking this a step further, the African bullfrog conceals itself in a mucus cocoon during droughts and reemerges when rain finally comes. There are even more frogs out there with similar adaptations, and it's amazing that these animals can survive in such hostile environments. Number 4. They swallow using their eyes. Frogs have absolutely crazy eyes. Not only can they see above the water when submerged, due to the placement of the eyes on top of their head, but they actually also use them to swallow food. Yes, that's right. Frogs lack the necessary muscles in their throat to swallow food. So what they do is lower their eyes down into the roof of their mouth to move the food into their esophagus. This is why frogs look like they're blinking or closing their eyes when they're eating. When I found this out, I thought it was absolutely crazy, and I've been sharing it with people ever since. So now you know too if you didn't know already. Number 5. They have distinct songs. One way that frogs are actually similar to birds is that they sing. In addition to that, each frog species has a unique song that can actually be used to identify them to species. These noises can include chirps, croaks, trills, and a lot more. Oftentimes, people actually confuse the noises that frogs make for bird noises, and they can sound pretty similar. What's funny is that they sing for pretty much the same reasons, attracting a mate and signaling their territory to potential rivals. In addition to these 5 facts, I have one bonus fact for you too. A group of frogs is called an army. That means next time you're at your local pond, you could be faced with an army of frogs. While they're common, frogs are actually amazing creatures, and I hope you learned something about them that you didn't already know. If you like this video, please give us a like and subscribe for more fun videos about animals. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Badgerland Nature.